Hi, today we're meeting with Leslea Wahl, and she's an author of teen books, and she just released a new picture book. It's her first one, but she has several teen books. How many do you have now, Leslea?
Seven, actually.
Seven. Good. What kind of teen books do you write? I mean, what's the
They
genre?
are, yes, they're faith-based, adventurous mysteries. So they all have some kind of mystery. That's always my favorite type of book to read and to write.
Yeah. Okay. Have you been writing a long time? I mean, 8 books, that's quite a few, or seven.
Yeah. Well, I've always was creative, even when I was a kid, but I didn't really pursue writing at all until my children, who are now adults, they were like in middle school, late elementary, early middle school years, and they wanted to be reading teen novels, and I was having a lot of trouble finding books that they could enjoy, that they wanted to read, but that also reflected the values of our family. So I kept searching and wondering where these mysterious books were that I couldn't find. And the idea for my very first novel kind of just popped into my head. And so
Oh,
I started writing it down, and years later, I got it published, and I've just kind of been writing ever since.
well, good. So you get your inspiration from your children.
Yeah, I often do. I get one idea and just kind of go with it. So a lot of authors I know kind of plot it all out, have an outline, and go with it. What I've heard is writing by the seat of my pants, a
Mhm.
pantser. I just kind of start with one little idea and just start writing, and it's so fun to see where this journey goes and what it turns into. And sometimes I have to go back and change things at the beginning because some kind of big plot twist comes to my mind. And
Mhm.
it's really enjoyable. But yeah, usually there's something in it that from a family aspect, a trip we take or some kind of situation or whatever that comes from my family. So my kids are adults now, as I said, but they enjoy reading my books because I still kind of always add something that has happened to us from usually a trip. Like my newest book has something that happened on Lake Powell, and so they have a good time like looking through it and remembering all the little incidents we've
Yeah.
had.
And you were telling me before we started, that you travel for your husband's job. So you must get an opportunity then to go to lots of different places.
Yeah, that's actually a new part of our life. He's a traveling physician now. It
Oh,
just started, and so we've been going to a few places for just a week or so at a time. But it's kind of been fun. It's kind of a semi-retirement situation for him. But it's neat because I can now am taking my books along and trying to find schools at the different
oh,
states we go to,
what a great
and
opportunity.
yeah, so it's really working out great.
Yeah, I can see that. Especially if you have advance notice and you can kind of set things up.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, so we had just a few, and now it's summertime, so I'll have to
yeah,
wait till the fall for more.
yeah,
But
yeah.
but it is fun, and it's actually great because while we're away, I don't have all my usual things around the house, so it's like an amazing big chunk of time for me to sit and write or work on marketing things. So yeah, so
Hmm.
far it's working great.
Yeah, good. So you have a little tagline I noticed on your website, strengthening faith through fiction.
Mhm.
That's what kind of your goal is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I aim to write enjoyable books that kids, teens will want to read, fun adventures, but I also want to add a little bit of faith into it
Hmm.
and not to make it heavy-handed or anything, but to have them think about things or have characters that they can emulate that turn to faith when there's a crisis or something.
Hmm.
And sometimes adults that can help lead them in situations. And
Hmm.
so I just, yeah, hope that I'm able to kind of help them think about their faith a little bit more because teens don't often do that. They get wrapped up into the world they're in, and sadly, especially nowadays, some of the things with music and
Yes.
movies and TV
Yeah.
are just so anti-faith, that it's nice to have a
Right.
little bit in there that they can turn to and help guide them a little bit.
Yeah, we're a lot alike that way. That's why I write too.
Yeah.
Um, what's your day look like? Like if you're going to write, do you do it like in the morning, in the night, just any time? Or what's your writing life look like?
Yeah, I do like to try to write in the morning, but it doesn't always happen. And it's funny when I first started writing and my kids were still in the house and so forth. I could only write, little snippets sometimes while they were at school, but then I lug my notebook along and, while they were at soccer practice or wherever, car
Oh, I wouldn't
line
imagine.
at
I don't think I could
school,
do that. Soccer
all
practice.
those little bits. And so now it's just such a amazing chance that I have, big chunks of time
Yeah.
to sit and write and work on it. Although I do tend to just not do a huge amount in a day, kind of just, like I said, since the story just kind of goes from my mind, I'll sit and write for an hour or so, and then it kind of gets to the conclusion of that
Scene.
thought process, yeah,
Yeah.
and then just put it away, and then my mind continues to think about it
Right.
through
So
the day.
scene by scene, really.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Sometimes I would write and the thing would take a life of its own. And even while I was asleep, I might think of
Yes,
something and get up in the night and write
I
something down.
know. Isn't it amazing? Like
It's
these
almost like you're on
characters,
vacation.
yeah, these characters want their story to be told, and they're like
Yeah,
waking you up at all hours, telling you.
I know. It's so fun. Um,
Yeah.
if do you have any of your children that want to be writers?
Actually, I do. So I have three children, and the older two are writers
Oh,
themselves. My daughter is actually an amazing editor as well. In fact, she's my main editor. She has a little editing company that she started. For some reason, I did not pay attention in school when it came to commas and so forth. So they are like my nemesis. I don't know why.
yeah, commas is my downfall too.
Oh, that's funny. You had a lot in common there. Yeah, so she's the one who's like always helping me fix it. And she'll have a little note like, good try with that semicolon, but it's not quite
Yeah,
right.
yeah, that's great though. Do you have any advice for a kid who might want to be a writer but doesn't quite know what they should, concentrate on?
Yeah, I would say pay attention in English class with those rules. It does make it a little easier in time. But to just kind of continue writing. I think the biggest thing is to try to find someone in your life, a teacher, a librarian, someone who you can um, give your work to and you can get honest feedback from.
Mhm.
Parents and siblings, that doesn't work real well
They're
because
really
they, of course,
close to you.
yes,
Almost like
exactly.
they
And
think it won't be good because they know you.
yeah, yeah, it can be that way, or they're like, oh, everything you do is wonderful.
Everything you do. Or I
So
would say even just to keep reading too.
yes, I agree. Yes, and I do that so much. I do a lot of book reviews now too, because reading other people's things helps me as well, even now. So,
Mhm.
so those are, yeah, the biggest tips I would have for people.
Okay,
Mhm.
good. What's your favorite part of writing, being an author?
Yeah, so it's really funny. I don't know if you have this, but sometimes after I finish my project and I put it away for a little while, a couple of weeks or whatever, and I bring it back out to look at it. And because I just kind of go with the story, sometimes I'm kind of surprised. Are you ever? Like, I'll get to a part and I'm like, oh, I forgot about that. Or one time there was a short story and I had all these different ideas of who would kind of be the bad person. And I actually kind of couldn't remember what direction I went. And so it was a surprise for me. And so many people are shocked by that. But so it's really fun to kind of go back and see. Sometimes you're kind of dreading it because you're like, oh, well, that wasn't written very well.
Yeah,
But other times it's kind of a fun surprise.
yeah. And then what's your least favorite thing?
Well, that editing.
Editing.
Yeah, but it's so important. You have to, so I actually have a couple different editors that will help me look at things. And another favorite part of writing, I guess, it just made me think was the people I've met
Mhm.
through this journey. I've made so many friends, not necessarily near me, but just online and through different groups and interacting with other authors and reviewers and so forth. And of course, readers. It's just been such a blessing in my life.
Mhm. Yeah, it is. Okay. Do you have which one of your books would you start with if you were a young reader? Which one would you recommend starting with?
Um, Well, so my very first book, The Perfect Blind Side, is a good one to start with, although at the moment I'm switching publishers, so it might be hard to find.
Oh,
But that one kind of is always a favorite of mine. But my newest book is actually is a family adventure for the summer. And so that one might be a really good one. And it's really for all ages. A lot of my other books have some romance, a little bit of innocent romance in them. But this one's about sibling relationships. It's called
okay.
A Summer to Treasure. And a big adventure as they travel through the Southwest and so forth.
Well, that'd
So
be a
it's
good one for a summer read too.
yeah. So it's a really fun one. So I maybe that might be the one to start with.
Okay, thanks.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, I don't know what else. I think that's pretty good. I think we can find your books on your website, which is, and you spell your name differently. It's L-E-S-E, I'm sorry, Leslea.
Mhm.
That's Leslie. And then your last name is Wahl, Wahl, and it's
Yeah.
lesliewahl.com.
Uh-huh.
So you can go to her
Yeah, my
website.
mom had wanted to be a little different, so
Yeah.
it does make it hard. And I also I'm on Instagram and Facebook with my name, or on Instagram it's Ministry Through Mystery, and so that's kind of a good way to find me. I'm also part of a group called Catholic Teen Books, and so you can reach to find the books there as well.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, great. And then is it available on Amazon too?
Yeah, all the books are there, and
Okay. And
yeah,
then are
so
they physical books and ebooks or
yes,
okay.
exactly.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking time to visit with us and
Oh, this has been so fun. I'm so glad to be able to come on and chat with you.
thank you. Talk to you soon.
Okay, take care.
Bye.
Bye.